Okay, so I am really angry right now. I just got kicked out of a Discord server. Um, like, if you want to know what one of the most toxic places on the internet is, it's 100% Discord servers. Either that or playing a League of Legends game. Um, Match, I mean, a League of Legends match. um, there's a lot of places on the internet that are toxic, but Discord is one that I've really struggled with. Like, I have problems sometimes on the internet overall because people have a hard time understanding me. I think it's because of my autism and stuff that we sometimes get into arguments that aren't supposed to happen because people misinterpret what I mean and think that I'm trying to be mean towards them, but I'm not. And maybe I misinterpret them and think they are mean towards me. But anyways, it happens a lot more in Discord. Like, there hasn't been almost a single Discord channel I haven't joined that hasn't tried to be toxic against me, and I'm not sure why it keeps happening on Discord of all places. Maybe it is because there's more people there, so you always find like the bad eggs or something eventually. I'm not sure. But anyways, I joined this one channel, and it was about Big Bang. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, trying to withhold information about what happened or anything. I mean, why would I do that? So I'm a big fan of Big Bang. Like, I've been that for years, like years and years. And I'm a person that like switch hobbies a lot, not like quit hobbies, but like I cycle them around. So like I like this month, the next month I like that, and it's also due to my autism. I think I super invest myself in one thing, like, oh, I'm just gonna do this. And right now it's all about Big Bang again. So I just got into them again like 2 months ago. That's why you probably are seeing a lot of stuff about me talking about them. I like other things too, and other bands too. Anyways, I've never been in a Big Bang like community before, like a Discord server related to them or something. And I was recommended to join one from another Discord group that I was in. So someone linked me like to a Big Bang Discord. So I joined there. And I was talking about different things and everything was going well until I mentioned Sengri, of course. And this is like, oh, this is such a problem. I hate that you can't talk about Big Bang anymore without people hating on you for talking about Sungri. And it's like, he's been a part of the band for 20 years. I'm not gonna pretend like he doesn't exist. It's like, yes, he's quit the band, but up until now he has been in the band, and after he quit, they've only released one song without him. So it's like, if I can't talk about him, I can't talk about Big Bang at all. And I like Sungri, so why the heck should I just pretend like he doesn't exist? He's a human freaking being. It's like, a lot of people on the internet are literally bullying him. Like, still, like, the man did his jail time. Just get on, people. Like, stop being angry at him. People don't even know what happened. I don't even know what happened, but I've seen the man on videos. He's like the cutest, fluffiest thing I've ever seen. I have a hard time thinking that he really did mean to be a bad person. I don't even think he was guilty in the first place. I think he's witch hunted. But if he was guilty, I don't think he really meant to do all of that anyways. And like, he probably regrets himself like a ton if so. And he could have been like forced to. I mean, if you get into a bad group of people, they can really like scare you into doing what they want you to do. It's not easy to get out of a bad group of people. It's not just like, oh yes, I'm gonna quit. Like it isn't always that easy. So I think it's wrong for people to judge him at all because they don't know him, they don't know what he was going through. But if he did what they say he did, then yes, those things are bad things. Those are things people shouldn't be doing. I don't support those things. But I support him as a human. Like, I like him. I think he sings good. I think he's nice. I've seen him being kind towards people. So, yeah. Anyways, I joined this Big Bang group on Discord. And people were... I was started to talk about Sungri. I don't remember exactly what I said. But they deleted it, like, immediately. And I was like, what? And then they, like, tagged me in a specific Sungri-only topic channel. And I was like, wait, so I can only talk about Sungri in this specific channel? Okay, why? And they were like, oh, well, it's because he's not in the band anymore, and we respect that. And I'm like, yeah, he's not in the band anymore, but that doesn't mean we should pretend like he doesn't exist and that he's invisible. They also put this, like, Discord channel at, like, furthest down in the whole list, so you couldn't see it unless you scroll all the way down. Like, they didn't really want people to see his name. He wasn't... the other 4 people's names were, like, on the top, like, further up, like, together, but his was, like, all the way down there, and it really felt like just bullying him straight out. Like, that's so unnecessary. And of course, if he doesn't want to be in the band anymore, I support that. It's not that. I'm never ever gonna be mad at him for not wanting to be in the band anymore. But, I mean, people... I don't know, and these people were, like, using that as an excuse, and, like, they were saying other things too, I don't remember, but... Anyways, so I was starting to talk about Sungri in this specific Sungri channel, because I respect their, like, rules and stuff. I try to be civilized. And then I started to talk about this with the Yale time and everything he had going on, because it's hard to talk about Sungri without bringing that subject up. And the thing is, I have been a fan for so many years, but since I go on hiatus for whiles and go back later, I miss a lot. So I'm not really up to speed about everything that has happened with Big Bang. So I was talking about it because I wanted to know more about it. Like, and I was nice, I was talking, and I was like... But then they, like, deleted those comments as well, and I'm like, what have I done now? And they were like, oh, you're not allowed to talk about that. So I'm not allowed to talk about a real thing that has happened in reality. And mind you, I wasn't being rude or mean when I was talking about it, because I love Sungri as, like, a person. So, I mean, I like him. Like, so I wasn't being mean towards him or anything. Because first I thought that maybe they thought I was, like, bullying him for being in jail or something. Like, maybe they misinterpreted me. But then it was just like, no, they don't want people to talk about him being in jail at all. So we should, like, hide the fact that he has ever been to jail. Like, it was a shameful thing to talk about. And it made me so mad. I was like, okay. And then they were like, you talked about this even though it said in the rule that you can't. And I was reading the rules, and the only rule at all that involved Sungri was talk about Sungri in the Sungri channel. And I was like, I haven't broken any freaking rule. It doesn't even say in your rules that it is a rule. And then I told them that maybe they should put that specific rule in the rules if I'm not allowed to do that. Okay, so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna talk about this. And I was like, better just stay off the whole Sungri subject at all in this specific Discord, because I don't want people to jump at me for everything. So then I started talking about other things. And then I was talking about, without mentioning Sungri's name later on, I was talking about, I wanted to know, like, what has each member been doing since they came back from the military and from around the area where Sungri went to jail. And I didn't say Sungri and I didn't say jail. I just said when they had to split up for reasons or something. I said something like that. Something like people will understand what I mean, but without actually saying what I mean. Just because it's really hard to not say anything when I'm trying to ask what happened around a specific time, you know? But I was trying to be respectful and not, like, mentioning that exact thing. And then someone tagged me inside of the Sungri channel and said, like, oh, I'm gonna reply to what you were talking about, but since this actually kind of involves Sungri, I'm gonna answer it here. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's great. And then everyone started to talk about Sungri, and like we're trying to talk about like the time he went to jail and stuff. And I was like, okay, so now all of a sudden it's okay to talk about this? Or so I started to talk about it again because everyone else was. So I assumed it was okay. And I also kind of didn't really remember what we were talking about the other night, because I literally joined that group like in the middle of the night, so my memory was a bit like I didn't really remember what I wasn't allowed to talk about, and I maybe assumed that people would like warn me if I went too far or something. So. And we also talked about other things. We didn't just talk about Sungri. We talked about all the members and what all of the members has been doing since the military time they went to, like, because if you don't know, like in Korea, like every man needs to do 2 years of military service at some point in their life. And that's when this band had to split up, because everyone was going to military service. And after that, Sungri sadly went to jail. And after that, they haven't really been a band. They said they made a comeback with like 4 of the members, but they only made 1 song, and then it's been like quiet for a whole year. So everyone is speculating that they aren't really doing a comeback. It's more like a farewell thing, because they kind of promised us to like come back after the military. So they held their promise, but maybe they aren't like really gonna do music together. So we're not sure. Nobody knows anything. It's okay if they don't want to. I mean, they are people. They have other things in their life they want to do. I respect that. I just think it's really sad, because before going to military, they were really like, they really wanted a Big Bang to exist when they came back. I remember, I think Dragon said in an interview to Sungri, like, please take care of the fan base for us until we come back, so there is a Big Bang to come back to. Because Sungri was the last one going to military service. The other ones went before him, so he was like all alone. And that's about the time when he went to jail and they came out, and all of a sudden they weren't doing Big Bang anymore. I don't know if it's because they feel like there's no reason without him. Like, I would do that. I would be like, oh, there's no Big Bang without him. He's our bro. Like, we can't go on without him. I would feel kind of like that. But at the same time, they were so very keen on coming back. But, I mean, 2 years in the military service also have to change you a bit, right? Maybe you get perspective on things, like you remember that you have a life outside of the music and you maybe want to explore other areas. I just hope I at some point in my life will be able to see a picture of all of them together, just meeting up and talking and hanging, and like, I hope they're not freezing him out because of that. Like, if it's true that he did those crimes, it's still, not what I would like to call the biggest crimes in history. It's like he hasn't murdered anyone, so I don't think they should like pretend it doesn't exist until they die or something. I mean, and he's been in for like 1.5 years. It's not like he's been in jail for 30 years or something. I just hope everyone someday can just forgive him. He doesn't seem like a bad person in general. It's like anything could have happened. I mean, you and me could like happen to have the same thing happen to us. It's like it's not like anyone just decides one day like I'm gonna do crime and I'm gonna go to jail for it. Haha. It's like things happen, you know. I'm not saying it's okay that you do bad things. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying everyone has a story and we should always be keen on listening to it and like hear people out before judging them. I've seen other people that has been to jail and like talking on TV, and they can be like the sweetest people. They just did bad things, like they stole a bunch of TVs or computers, and like, but they can still be a really good dad or like really good at cooking food, or like it's not like going to jail isn't your whole personality. And as I said, I don't think he actually did those crimes, because he seems like such a sweet person. I just think just because he's famous, he happened to fall in some kind of weird media trap. I think it's kind of the thing that happened with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, but in this case, Amber was the one that won instead of Johnny Depp, kind of. So, unfortunately. What were we talking about? We were talking about the fact that they kicked me out of the group, I think, because I started to talk about Sungri and his jail time again. I'm not sure, because I saw there was a lot of people. They were like really talking a lot to me, and I was trying to be kind and answer every one of them. And then somewhere in the middle of it all, I saw something about you were warned once to not, and then I didn't read the rest because it kind of disappeared, and then the group disappeared, and I realized that, oh, they must have deleted me from the group, I think. I hate when this happens, and it's not that I don't respect it, but if you're gonna kick someone out, at least give them enough time to read the message you're saying, that when you're telling that you are gonna kick them, because right now I'm just being confused and scared and sad and confused. Like, I didn't think I was doing a bad thing. A lot of people in Discord, I think, are getting judged like wrongly. And as I said, there were a lot of people there talking about the same thing as me. And since none of us were getting warned, I thought it was okay. And like, apparently it wasn't. And I'm sad if I did something I shouldn't be doing, but people should explain. I mean, it's so hard on internet, and especially for me. I'm not saying like I should be excused for having autism, but it's like, it's really hard for me, especially on text, to read people at times. Like, sometimes I'm really super good at it, but sometimes I apparently offend people without trying to, and it's so confusing because I'm really trying to be super kind to everyone. I love people. I really do, and I just get so sad when people make me look like some kind of bad guy, because that's not who I am. I'm really sweet, I'm really kind, and I really care for people, and I'm super empathic. The whole reason why I'm even talking about Sungri so much is because I feel really sad for him. Like, it must be so hard to be him right now. And I'm also sad for his members, because of course they are like so sad without him, and they didn't want him to go to jail, and then they didn't want the band to split up, and everyone's been kind of just trying to manage since then and being so sad. And that's what we were talking about. We were talking about other members. And I was trying to, like... The thing is, all of the people in that chat were really anti-Sungri Sungri. And even so, they were willingly inside of the Sungri channel talking about him. And I'm sure that they didn't get kicked. I was the one being kicked, even though I was being the nice one. I was defending him, and they were really not really super nice. And they were these kind of people like, oh, Big Bang is just for people now. Honey, just get over it. They're never gonna have a comeback. And I was like, please don't call me honey. You don't know me. We're not friends. And don't sound condescending towards me, please. It's like... But those people were the ones that got to stay, apparently, and not me. Well, I don't know what happened after I got kicked, but I'm sure that they didn't get kicked. It's always like that in Discord. I always look like the bad one for trying to be the nice person. I'm not sure why. They were also really condescending towards me. They really made it sound like I wasn't a true Big Bang fan because I didn't know a bunch of things. It's like, I have other hobbies too, you know that, right? And there are 5 members, well, now there are only 4, but they were 5 members. Reading up on everyone's personal life and everyone's story and what everyone is doing constantly would take a lot of time and energy. And like, I like to draw, I like to sing, I like to play video games, I like to hang with friends, I like to dance. I have like such a big list of hobbies. I can't go that deep into everything all of the time. And as I said, I've been like a fan of them almost since they debuted, but that doesn't mean I check Big Bang news every day 24/7 all year around. It's like you can still be a very true fan but still disappear for months on end without like searching about that thing. I mean, I'm a huge fan of like Good Omens, but that doesn't mean that I read about Good Omens every single day. It was like some month now or so since I read about Good Omens last. So yeah, they were like really mad at me for not knowing a bunch of stuff. Like I didn't know that TOP has been like working on releasing some own created music. And they were like, have you even been reading what people are saying? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know everything. That's why I'm here and asking you guys politely to fill me in. Or maybe they meant like, are you reading what other members in this Discord are saying to you? And yes, I was. I was really trying to, but there were so many of them writing. And I didn't even get to finish. I didn't get to finish speaking. People were having the wrong kind of image of me, and then I got kicked, and now I'm really sad. I'm just really sad. And all of this for talking about something very serious and something very real. I was just talking about that Sungri went to jail, and we all know he did go to jail. But why should that be such a taboo subject to talk about? I mean, I know it's not like talking about the weather, but there's so many people just pretending he never existed. Like, I constantly see 2 camps of people like, these people only supports the 4 members that are left, and these people support like the original 5. And like, why do we have to argue? Can't we all just get along? I mean, I like Big Bang with Sungri, I like Big Bang without Sungri. I just really miss him and wish he was there, but it's not like I'm not gonna listen to them if they are only 4. It's just the ones that like them being 4, they are really... Those fans are really toxic usually. If you mention Sungri around them, they hate you. Like, you get spammed, hate spammed. It's... I mean, how can you support Big Bang without at least trying to understand what Sungri went through? I mean, do you guys really think that the band members just hate him now? I don't think so. He's been their friends for like 20 years. That's not something you can delete. Not even jail time can delete that. I'm gonna tell you, if my best friend went to jail, yes, of course I would be upset. I wouldn't support what my friend did. to go into jail, but it's not like when my friend get out of jail, I'm never gonna speak to my friend again. It's still my friend that I've laughed with, shared hobbies with, shared memories with. Nothing can take that away. Like, if you have a strong enough bond, you're never gonna be able to unsee it. That's what I'm saying. So I don't think like the members don't miss him and don't. They're. Especially G-Dragon, like, it feels to me like Sungri was kind of his whole world at some point, and then his world just disappeared. And he's been trying to just recover from that. So also they were all like in a band together for 20 years, like non-stop, and then all of a sudden they had to be independent and go to the military, and nobody knew how to be alone. So I think that kind of broke them all a bit. But I think it was also good for them to get some perspective that maybe everything doesn't last forever and they should be prepared. But they're still so young, I mean, it doesn't have to be the end. I hope at some point that they do some kind of comeback, all of them. Even if it's not like forever, maybe it's just like one tribute song to like remember the good old days or something. But if they don't, I support that. And if Sungri wants to be a civilian person and not be famous at all anymore, I support that too. I just wish that even if he doesn't want to continue being in Big Bang, that he could still do solo music, or that he could do something else. I mean, I've seen him talk when they have these Big Bang. They have these videos where Sungri is some kind of self-named like TV program. What's it called? Not reporter, but program leader, and sitting there with like flashcards and talking like, and he's really good at it. He's really good at talking. He talks a lot, so I think he could really be like having his own show or like his own YouTube channel or something where he gets to like talk about things. I just wish he did something, something that we could all like follow and see him again, like on video, see him talk, whatever it might be. I mean, he could be a spokesperson for the rights of cows to always have green grass or something. I'm not sure. It's like I would listen to anything. But as it looks like right now, it's just gonna be like a civil person just living. I hope he can at least get a job. It will be really hard. It's like when you've been to jail once, it's gonna haunt you forever. He's gonna be 95 and people are still gonna bring it up somehow. At least he has a supporting family, supporting friends. He's been smiling a lot every time he's on like a picture. And I think he is in some way really happy for being out of jail. Like, he's so appreciating that fact, of course. But I think he's also trying to be brave. He knows that if he looks sad or angry or anything, people are not gonna like him. So I think he's smiling a lot because he just wants people to like him again and not like think bad of him. And I really wish I could just give him a big hug. I hope he listens to this at some point, but even if he does, I think it's gonna be okay. I hope other fans' support will reach him, so